So let me do a quick check just to make sure everything's working. So apparently, according to a few different online sources, by online I mean like sort of YouTube news guys, they say Joe Biden's won. TYT have said it. Rational National, Secular Talk. So if it's wrong, then blame those guys. Anyways, like I was saying, it looks like it might be over, and so it might be time to play one of my favorite clips of all time. That's Trump's heartbreak there.
Why does the sky turn red?
What does this mean?
Wrong color, but we'll roll with it.
The Supreme King
The man who wanted to be the Supreme King.
has been beaten. Your army is defeated.
MAGA Boys Go Home. It's one of the most beautiful musical themes that I've heard, probably in like fiction in general. But if we go to the Google results, which are based on the Associated Press, it's still there. But Biden's won in Nevada, so that's a win. That's it. That's done. Nevada's done. If he wins Nevada, it's done. Like the election's over. He's at 270. Trump looks like he's won North Carolina. Thingy has flipped. What state's that? Georgia flipped, and that was the key. But it's within less than 0.1%. So if anything does happen, if there's a recount, who knows what can happen there? So Biden's big hope is that Pennsylvania comes through as well, and he's done. Pennsylvania's worth like 20 points, and he just needs Nevada. Honestly, he just needs Nevada at this point. But this hasn't been a good election for a lot of reasons. If we look at the Senate. Awful results, and if you look at the House, it's not great. It's not great at all. The Democrats have done very poorly in down ballot races, and I guess you could honestly say the real fight begins now because Biden's a lame duck president really, purely because with Mitch McConnell in the Senate, he can't do anything. He won't be able to do anything. He's gonna Grim Reaper his whole cabinet, everything. And so unless the Dems can take back the Senate in a few years' time, 2 years' time, I think that's when the next elections are. This win's probably the most hollow win in a very long time. I think the only other time I've read of such a hollow win was a military campaign in the book Sword of Allah, which is a really good book. I recommend that book if you like learning about like military and siege stuff. In which they took a castle, but what happened was they took the castle through conquest, which means that they basically physically, killed the men, took the castle. But what happened was Khalid was snaked. He wasn't snaked. He was outplayed, or outthought, should I say, by the leader of the castle, where he went to Khalid's subordinate and basically got a peace agreement through him, and therefore that peace agreement stuck. And they called that a hollow victory because they stormed the castle. And when you storm the castle, that's it. Once you take something through right of conquest, especially in those days, everything's yours. You do what you want at that point. But that it feels like that's a very hollow victory that I read about it was a long time ago. It's a really good book if you're interested in like military stuff. I have a copy of it somewhere. I had a copy of it years ago, but I had lost it. So I bought one off eBay. Really nice hardcover book. I think it cost me like £16. Definitely one I'm adding to the library of books. Definitely one worth adding. Need to look after my books a bit better. But it looks like it's done. But if you look at these Senate races, they flipped. The Republicans flipped Alabama. There's a few more seats up for grabs. I can't remember, some guy called Ossoff, John Ossoff. I think it's him. There it is. Yeah. So that's running quite close. And there was one more, I believe. Might have been this one. These American names really are jokes, The amount of alliteration they put into their names, like Cal Cullingham and Tom Tillis. They sound like something that the guy who invented Spider-Man, I can't remember his name now, Marvel, he died a few years ago. I should really remember his name. It slipped my mind now. Sorry. But yeah, it reminds me of names he would come up with. Like Peter Parker, Tom Tillis. They sound like Marvel characters. Tommy Tuberville. I shouldn't have mocked names given my name, but Tommy Tuberville, come on. Who else we got here? John Cornyn, yeah, I know who he is. I've heard his name before. Ben Ray Lujan, I don't know. Anyways, like I was saying, it looks like it's done. New York Times going to be iffy with me now because I've clicked on loads of different things and it doesn't like that. It's like you got to pay up full. But it looks like a dead cert. It looks like it's over. But who knows? You know, Trump's going to try and sue and go to the courts. He's been thrown out of a few cases where he said we didn't have meaningful access, and the judge said, "Were you in the room?" Yes. He's like, "Get out." So yeah. But again, it's still small margins here in the first past the post system. That's why I would want to move to a PR system. I think that'd be best for most countries. But you add a minimum threshold of say 5 or 10% of votes. So it stops you from getting those absolute morons in. He's looking at you, Adolf Hitler. It stops you from getting characters like those in and jamming up the works and causing all sorts of problems and giving them a national platform. But if enough people vote for the lunatic, then what more can you do? Because I know in the UK, if we had a PR system, obviously the way people would vote would be different. But at the same time, at least you wouldn't have such strong majorities right now. We've got a viewer in, so if you want to comment anything, let it be said. Like I said, I'll just quickly catch you up just in case you just joined now. It looks like Joe Biden's won. I've seen it from multiple different sources. Not any corporate media outlets, but it's mainly just internet, like YouTube, pundits, I guess, which is a bit of a dangerous route to go on. But I trust these guys. TYT, they're a bit iffy at times, but at the same time, they are almost a corporate outlet in terms of how big they are, and if they call it wrong, then they're going to make themselves look really stupid. But again, we go to my favorite clip there.
No, Axel, what happened? They each ran out of
The Supreme King.
Here we go.
Why does the sky turn red?
What does this mean?
I like how they got Vampire Genesis there. Vampire Lord, sorry.
What's happening?
The Supreme King
Beautiful
has
music.
been beaten. Your army is defeated.
I want to say that's Joe Biden there, but Joe Biden's nowhere near as cool as Zayn or Kaiser, as he's known in the subversion. Nowhere near as cool, man. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna end this live stream in a few minutes. People are desperate for results right now. People want this nightmare to be over. Whoever you are, second viewer, if you want to put a comment in the chat, feel free, or don't. It's your choice. I'm not going to force you to do anything. But it's very, very reminiscent of 2016, where Trump won by narrow margins, and I know there's a lot of missing ballots here. If we have a look, quickly. I can't even spell. There are a lot of missing ballots here somewhere. Let's see if I find it. Emmett Sullivan here is taking a one-man army stand against the Trump administration here. You got to respect that. He told the the people who work at the USPS to have everything sorted by 3:30 p.m. and have all the postal ballots out. They couldn't do it, mainly because DeJoy's really messed up everything at the post service, which is something he was meant to do. You don't hire incompetent people unless you want a job done badly, and that's what DeJoy did. A guy who had massive conflicts of interest, Louis DeJoy. So you can see why. You can see why he was hired. Essentially, it was a double win for him. Destroy the postal service, help his buddy Trump out, and also help himself out, because with the USPS, damaged, he has. Excuse me. He has interest within the private postal services, like companies probably like I don't know which one he has specific shares in. I know he does have shares in certain postal companies like UPS, FedEx, Hermes. If they work in America, don't ship with Hermes, guys. Don't do it. It's bad. It's bad. From what I've seen on the internet. So yeah, there were a lot of missing votes, and that's one of the things that's going to affect down ballot races a lot. But what we can see from this is it's almost over. It's almost over, and the real fight begins now. If we look at the Senate races, 46, 48, 51 majority. it's not looking too good. Obviously, not all the seats are up for grabs at the moment. Certain states don't have elections, but it's very embarrassing for the Dems here. What's also a good thing is that ballot measures have done really well. Apart from, I think it's something 22 where Uber workers and other they call them gig economy workers. I guess it's like kind of like freelancers where you're technically not an employee, like kind of what UFC fighters are and other fighters, where you're technically not an employee, but you know you do work for them, so you don't get the employee benefits. So that's the only one. That's one of the few that have done badly. But a lot of weed has done well. Legalized weed has done well. Obviously, the federal state can come in and stop that. But then you know, what about states' rights, guys? But you know, Biden has done well in certain areas. I think it was really bad that he didn't try and appeal to, and they use this in the broad term of Latin, you know, Latinx voters or Latino voters. Obviously, you know, the Latino community is very diverse. You know, it's like if you said, you know, he needs to appeal more to Asian voters. Like, who are you talking about? You're talking about, you know, Bengali people like me, Indian people, you know, Pakistani people. Like, are you talking about Far East Asian people? You know, about Japanese people, Chinese people. Like, when you talk about a certain community, it's very stupid and very disrespectful to say that, oh, you know, you need to appeal more to you know, like a Latinx community, you know, a European community, because all of these like continents are very diverse. You know, from a lot of the things we do, the things that we believe, the religions we have, the things we eat. Like, if you look at the difference between like different countries and the food they eat, it, you know, it's very similar in some areas and very different in some other areas. So, you know, treating the Latino or Latinx community, whatever the phrasing you want to use is, as such a broad thing is so disrespectful. And the fact that Trump obviously knew he had to do outreach to, you know, Cuban voters in Miami and other groups. You know, Trump has done better with minorities this time out than he did in 2016. Like, how is that even possible after all the stuff he said? And one of the problems is you put a guy up like Joe Biden who signed the crime bill, you know, and I don't think he's ever apologized for it. And, you know, what do you expect minority people to do? He doesn't, you know, people know Joe Biden doesn't really care that much about him. Kamala Harris is just, you know, she's there because she knows in 4 years' time she's going to make a big run for the presidency. And so long as the world doesn't end by, you know, 2024, and you know, the pandemic's taken like they've, you know, managed to limit the damage of the coronavirus and the economy's on the rise, then, you know, most likely she will be able to be successful in her run for the presidency in 2024. I know I'm mixing up my words here. I'm sorry. I'm a bit tired. It's midday. I've got a long day ahead of me as well. But yeah, you know, it looks like it's done. I don't want to say it's done purely because, you know, you don't want to be proved wrong and you don't want to put disinformation out there. My name's not Donald John Trump. But, you know, by the looks of things, you know, Nevada looks like it's done. And if Nevada's done, that's it. He's won. Nevada's worth 6 points. And Joe Biden just needs 6 points. That's it. It's done. 270 to win. But if he gets some of these other states, it does make his win a lot more solid. You know, you got 20 points in Pennsylvania, and I've no idea how many points you have in Georgia. Does it say here? 16. So that's a good win. You're talking about just over 300. I predicted in my election prediction video, which you can find somewhere on my channel. It's going to be about Biden will get about 300 electoral college votes. I think I might have said he'll win by 300 electoral votes. Obviously, I meant, you know, he might win by around 300 electoral votes. And I think my prediction was about right here, because I thought it'd be close. I thought it'd be close, especially since in the Financial Times polls, you know, they do the average of polls based on someone else's reporting. Is it 538 or no? It's not. It's the RCP average, the Real Clear Politics. Yes, that's it. It's based on the RCP average. Geez, big up Ellis James in the house. Yo, you best be ready for that podcast later, man. I swear, it's going to be so long. Big up Mexes, man. What are you saying? I think it's over, bruv. I think it's over. And I've lost my train of thought. Damn it, Ellis. That's going to happen a lot today. I can feel it. I completely lost it. Anyways, how long have we been going for? Let's have a look quick. Won't be going for too much longer. About 15 minutes. All right. We'll go for a few more minutes. But, you know, this is not the strongest showing for a guy, you know, in Biden who was going against you know, Trump wasn't a hard guy to win against. Obama would have swamped him. Obama would have put him down. You know, he would have done what he did to, you know, Mitt Romney. It was savage what he did to Mitt Romney, man. When I saw the way he got fact checked live on air, and I was like, oh. And then Romney was like, we have less tanks and battleships and stuff, and but Obama was like, yeah, we have less bayonets, and I was like, oh man, you've got him again, and I think the best singer was when Mitt Romney was like, Russia's the big problem here, and Obama was like, the Cold War called, they want their strategy back. I was like, right, you can't do this to a person. It's not right, man. As bad as a president he was, policy wise, in terms of as a man, he had source. He also killed a lot of people doing his illegal offensive wars. But Ellis, I'm just saying, if you're still listening, I think doing the Trump legacy question would be a good question. The only problem is we are a bit early with it because we don't know what the fallout's going to be from this election. So it might be a touch premature, but I think we have enough content to go off with the judges and the pollution and stuff. So it's just a quick one there. We'll keep going for a few more minutes. Yeah, the fact that he split Georgia. Georgia was the state where there's that big story where I can't remember his name. If I say a black man was killed by an off-duty police officer and his son, where they chased him down the street and they shot him, and they fought with him and shot him. That's Georgia. And it's kind of crazy to see that state's flip blue. But again, these senatorial races are not great. John Ossoff, really needs. I think he's gonna have a runoff or something like that because the election's close, so it's gonna go to January, and there might be less tomfoolery, should we say, when it comes to postal voting. So we'll see what that happens there. But the Republicans have got they're essentially this is well, I don't know if I can say that on the live, Ellis, but I agree. The Republicans have gotten a very good result here because Biden's going to be lame duck, and in about 4 years' time, when there's another election, they can say this guy's achieved nothing. And it could be a much smarter, populist, authoritarian candidate. You could have someone like Tucker Carlson. He's way smarter than Trump, because he'll give you the similar pieces that a left winger would give you, sort of like certain companies aren't paying taxes, certain things are the problem, but he'll give you a different conclusion, similar to someone like Saga from Rising, which is another thing that one day I'll talk about him. Screw that guy. And I am annoyed that Crystal does give him as much cover as she does, because the whole premise of the show is stupid. Because that idea of balance, you can't have that when one of them is a propagandist. How can you say you're a libertarian and then say you don't want to legalize weed? That don't make sense. I think the real winner here is if we could, people talk about Jill Stein damaging the result in 2016. You could argue that Jo Jorgensen, I think that's her name. Like, what is with you Americans and your alliteration? Like, why do you do this? Hal Hawkins, what's wrong with you guys? Honestly. I mean, look at some of these names here. What's that Senate race gone? I'm gonna go through this again. You got Perdue. All right, this isn't the one. Tommy Tuberville. Come on, man. There was another one. Oh, there's a few more. So annoyed. Tom Tillis, Cal Cunningham. Lindsey Graham. Enough of that guy. You want to see how? Where's Kentucky at? Which one's Kentucky? Is that Kentucky? No, there's Kentucky there. How are you going to spend $100 million and lose to a guy who looks like a turtle? How are you going to do that? Like, that's bad. That's embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. You lost to Amy McGrath, lost to a guy who looks like a turtle. He looks like something Super Mario would jump on. Trying to save the princess. He's just bad. He's big Ohio. And, the House, I always find it weird how many districts America has, especially compared to the UK, because we don't have. I suppose we have councils. Yeah, we have councils. It's all a separate thing. So I guess that would make sense. If you looked at our system, it would be quite confusing. So I don't know. Alice, you got anything more you want to say? I might bounce. Got to still get ready. I've got to do another video and then get ready for the podcast later. You got anything you want to add? Keep the language to a minimum. Yeah, I don't want to sound like Captain America having to police your language. Don't know if any Utes are watching. Any of my cousins are watching or anything like that. But yeah, if Biden wins Nevada, then it's done. Because the thing is, Republicans have got everything they wanted from Trump. They've got the courts. No, just get ready for podcast. My guy, respect. This is podcasting #1 respect sport. This is not a bad result for Republicans. Trumpism will still stay. Yeah, all right. You start out. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I respect that. I mean, there were videos of people in Arizona saying "count the vote," and then people in Pennsylvania shouting "stop the vote." Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, you're adults. Like, some of you guys have children. Like, how are you people this dysfunctional? I don't understand how people they lack the ability to not even think critically, just think basic. I'm not an intelligent guy. Anyone can tell you that. Anyone who knows me, Ellis will probably tell you that. But you got to see the absurdity of one state saying, it being in one state and saying, stop the vote, and another state saying count the vote because your boy's losing in one state but he's winning in another state. Like, it don't make sense. This election, man, I don't sleep properly when it's like UK elections or US elections. I don't know why. I didn't sleep well in 2016 or this whole week. I doubt a lot of other people did either. Trump's probably had a few restless nights. I think a lot of people make a big deal out of the 3 million votes thing. I think it's only it's 2%. It's a lot of votes on when you look at the mass number, but it's 2%. But if you look at the UK results, which is something I probably should have had up to talk about, why first past the post sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what more to say. I think this race may be done. There's big Hawaii. All Biden needs to do is just win, one of these three. He's got to win Nevada, Georgia, or Pennsylvania. Or no, I think they might have thrown in the Nevada count. No, they haven't. The Nevada count isn't in there. It's just the ones that are dark color. Like, what are these states? Vermont, New Hampshire. New Hampshire is such a small state. It's so important though because it's one of the early ones, but it's so small. He's got to win one of these three. And I think Trump has to win 4 of them or something like that. He's really down at the moment. Final words, Ellis, before I bounce and have to shoot a video for today. Any final words of wisdom to depart on the audience? See if Ellis is still paying attention. I'm going to play that clip one more time, actually. Screw it, why not? What? Where is it? Where does it start from?
Your army is defeated.
What's happening?
The Supreme King
Up the blues. Just this once.
has been beaten. Your army is defeated.
One more time.
Hope so.
Happening?
The Supreme King
We'll play this one more time just because I love the background music in this.
has been beaten. Your army is defeated.
So yeah, like I said, just this one time, up the blues. Never again. And also, the real fight for you Yanks, especially lefties, begins now with the House and the Senate, because I've got to say these results are awful and embarrassing. The Senate race, not good. Believe me, not good. Very bad for you, in the words of Trump. The House race not looking too good either. So buck up. And 2 years out, don't forget how important voting is. Never forget how important primaries are. Because if you actually, if you guys actually voted in the primaries, you could have had a real G, Bernie Sanders. You could have had a proper G there. I'm talking proper fam. Mad respect to the guy. He's been out here since, a long time, bro. Long before I was born. He was out here fighting for people. All right. So never forget how important primaries are, because that's where you make the difference. That's where you get people like Ilhan Omar and AOC and the rest of the gang. And you could have had a real Don, but you chose, a lot of people stayed home. Don't make that mistake again in 2 years or in 4 years or whenever you have elections, because I can't keep track of what goes on in your country. But I'm going to leave it there. Big up, Alice. I'll see you later. We'll talk later, yeah? Promise. All right. And on that note, I'm out.